Good morning, everyone. This is truly a glorious day in the United States of America, and I am honored to look upon our new American citizens. Many of you have shown your strength of character, your love and loyalty to this nation for some time now, serving in our armed forces, creating economic opportunity for others, raising strong families of American children. I owe you all my allegiance, as you all have pledged your allegiance to this nation. In the few moments I have to speak with you today, I want to speak to you about a very simple concept, something that we talk about often but water down with our overuse or misuse or misapplication of the word. We've made it often saccharine and shallow. But I want to speak to you today about something that I believe is deep. In fact, it's the greatest of all human emotions. It's this ideal that keeps us together, that helps us to move forward as a nation. What I want to talk to you today is simply about love. Now, patriotism is love of country, but I do not believe you can love your country unless you love your fellow countrymen and women. We don't always have to like each other or necessarily get along every day, but love is something deep. At a time that our nation speaks so much about tolerance, I want to say that tolerance should be a floor. It's not the ceiling. It's not to which we aspire. Tolerance is saying, hey, I'm just stomaching your right to be different, but if you disappear off the face of the earth, I'm no worse off or better off. America has always been aspiring to be about love. Love sees the worth and sees the dignity of everyone, understands that we all have something to contribute, that we need each other, that we share a common destiny, that indeed those Latin words so associated with the truth of our nation, e pluribus unum, is about love. At a time where we often see such hatred and bigotry and meanness in our country, we need to hail the truth of our nation, that we are here because of love. If you think about this country, we were founded different than any other on the planet Earth. We actually broke with the course of human events. As somebody who has traveled this globe to many of the countries from which our new citizens hail, so many of these nations are formed. Their borders are about ethnicities. Their borders are about religions. Their borders were formed because of tribal lines. Our nation said we were going to be different than that. We were not going to form this nation because of religious commonality or because of ethnic commonality, because we all looked alike, that we would be a nation be formed on ideals, principles, the highest aspirations of society, that we would be a nation of liberty and justice, that we would be a nation of equality under the law. We're the oldest constitutional democracy on the planet Earth. But our founders, the imperfect people that they were, our founders understood, their genius was knowing that if we were going to make this nation work, that if we were going to be a country bounded by ideals and principles, that we needed to be a nation that recognized the dignity and the truth and the worth of all, that we needed to make an uncommon commitment to one another. That's why the Declaration of Independence ends with an incredible and extraordinary Declaration of Interdependence, where our founders say, hey, if this is all going to work, if we're going to make this nation last for centuries, then we've got to make an unusual commitment to one another. If it's not bonds by race or religion or ethnicity, we've got to make an unusual commitment to one another to succeed. And that's why the last words of the Declaration of Independence was a declaration of interdependence. They say that we mutually pledge to each other. We mutually pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Today, now more than ever, we need sacred honor from each other as Americans. A commitment that we're all in this together, an understanding of the old African saying that if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. This nation needs citizens who are committed to love, to healing the bonds, healing the rifts between us, healing the wounds that still exist in our country, understanding that love is not a being word, it is an action word. It necessitates sacrifice and struggle. It necessitates sweat and sometimes blood. I think about the love of our ancestors, love that took people from beaches in Normandy to Midway, love that took folks from Bunker Hill to even now, troops I've just visited in Afghanistan. Love is not speaking slogans or singing songs. Love is showing actions and deeds for your fellow Americans. Love is those people in Camden right now who are serving meals or working at drug rehabilitation centers. Love is people right now today finding ways to share the wealth that they have with others, to show kindness and decency and mercy and compassion to fellow Americans. Love is supporting public institutions like our public schools, because we in this nation of love understand that if your child fails, my children suffer as a result. But if your children get a great education, great health care, if your children thrive and become artists and become teachers and become business people and become soldiers, if your children thrive, then my children benefit. We are a nation now more than ever that needs people that don't just say the words, but live them. I'm one of those folks that often say that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough. Because sometimes our nation is wrong. We have a history of being a nation that has been committed to making ourselves a more perfect union. As a parent who loves a child, my mom who loves me, who used to tell me, boy, pull up your pants, straighten yourself out, comb your hair, when I had hair. She criticized me not because she was trying to demean or degrade me, but because she wanted the best for me. If you love something, you want to elevate it and improve it. That is the call of love. We who say we love America must serve her, must defend her, must fight for her, must humble ourselves before our fellow Americans and try to elevate the whole. There was a great man, a poet that I loved, who once said, "America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath America will be." You swore an oath today. It's an oath of love and commitment and dedication and determination. May our collective love help to make our nation a more perfect union, to make our nation more real and abundant for us all. Because I believe this world needs America now as much as ever. It needs our heart. It needs our spirit. It needs our moral example. It needs our justice. And so I am thrilled today. I am excited to welcome people who have hungered to be Americans, who yearn to bring to this nation as our fellow citizens your grit and your determination. May you celebrate your citizenship not just with words and symbols of pride, but may you celebrate your citizenship every day with acts of service, understanding that perhaps the biggest thing you can do in any day will always be a small act of kindness, of decency, of love. And may you remember that this nation wasn't shaped by senators and congresspeople and presidents. Yes, that leadership made a difference. Yes, that leadership was important, but every generation has seen that it has been the lovers of this nation that really made the change. I give you the example of a bunch of men in Washington. They didn't decide one day, yep, it's about time those women have their rights to vote. No, it was the activism and the engagement and the citizenship of Americans who understood that democracy is not a spectator sport. It's a full contact participatory endeavor. You've got to get off the sidelines and get into the game. And with that, I conclude. I want you to know that we need you in the game, on the field, with all of your heart, with all of your spirit, with all of your kindness, with all of your love. I believe that with you as new citizens, small group that you are, joined together with other Americans, that you are the hope of a nation, that you are the promise of all that we can become. And that indeed, if we do our duty like our ancestors did then, if we work enough and serve enough and help enough and heal enough, if we love enough, then future generations will have a better nation to celebrate, to enjoy, and to continue to be a light unto all. Thank you very much.